Oh, hello and welcome to a very special bonus edition of the Final Word tonight with just myself, Shane, at Non-League Writer on Twitter, of course. Now, West tonight is off, enjoying a well-earned break and recovering from the loss of Mark Carrington and Luke Simpson. Wes, hope you're having a good one, mate. Now, there's a very special game going on Sunday for the Harriers ladies, and I'm delighted to be joined by the captain, no less, of the ladies team, Anne Johnson. Anne, how are you doing tonight?
I am good, thank you.
Excellent. So before we jump into that, we're going to talk about the other week first. Champions again for the fourth time in 5 years in the County Cup. Come on, that's got to been a great feeling.
Yeah, it was an excellent performance from the girls. We went into the game knowing that we'd lost once to Worcester and we'd beaten once this season, so it's going to be a very even game. And we played really, really well. You know, everyone played to the best of their ability, and it was a fantastic match. And we came out deserved winners.
I was having a look through the results for the season, actually, and there's some real standout displays there. Obviously, the Lichfield one stands out, not in scoreline, but in terms of league context and the actual performance at Agborough as well. That was a brilliant performance. I was privileged to be there to cover it.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say the three best performances of the season have been the Lichfield game that you've just mentioned, the cup final, the county cup final, in terms of like the stature and how important it is to try and win a trophy for us. And then when we beat Sutton as well, that was a fantastic performance. Sutton away, again, vying at the top of the league. Again, a brilliant performance, and shows what we can do when we've got the consistency and all the players that are available. We are a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, I think we all agree with that. If anybody looks at the result, I think there's a 10-0 or a 10-1 in there, a couple of sevens, the odd eight. So it's clear to see there's a good thing going on there, and it's just, as you say, just reproducing it time and time again. But anyone who looks on your Twitter bio, Wolves were in for 16 years. There's a wealth of experience, if you don't mind me saying. So I think that's a good point to start, actually. How did you actually get into the women's game? When did you decide that it was a path you wanted to follow?
Just from a really early age, to be honest. I always wanted to play football. When I was at primary school, I played for what was the boys' team. There was just a team. I was the only girl who played. Unfortunately, when we got to the first match that I was chosen for, the other team refused to play us because I was a girl. And that was their teacher, who was obviously very chauvinistic at the time. And so our teacher put us all back on the bus and went back to school. So that was my first experience of, a little bit of chauvinism in women's football and people being against women playing. So it was quite difficult. We were lucky enough, there was a kind of girls' team in the West Midlands area. So any girl that wanted to play football in the West Midlands, there was a team called Angels FC. All over Worcester, Dudley, lots and lots of travelling to get there for training. But we didn't have anyone to play. We had to play the boys' teams, so we could just play friendlies. There was no league. But we did quite a lot. I mean, I was lucky enough to play on Anfield for Angels FC when I was about 11. Played at Anfield. So, I've always played football, always been interested in it. And then when I was 14, I was old enough to play women's football because back in those days, when I was 14, what was it, 1990? You were allowed to play from the age of 14. Obviously, they've upped it to 16. So 14, I joined a team called Dudley Ladies because that's where we lived in Dudley. And it just sprung well from there. When I was 17, I got asked to go to Wolves and I played for Wolves then from the age of 17 until I retired for the first time. I always say retired to have kids.
Well, again, I mentioned your Twitter there, your bio, mom, teacher, Harriers ladies captain. You're like a superwoman. You can do it all.
Not sure about that.
Well, touch on the teaching side very quickly, actually. Do the kids know that you're a footballer? Is it tempting not to join in on those playground or Astro games if somebody's giving a little bit of lip, maybe?
Yeah, when previously, my previous job that I was at for like 20 years, I developed as a PE teacher from basically age of 21, and that's when I played for Wolves, and we actually trained at that school, the Cosley School at the time, the sports centre there. And a lot of the kids did know, well, they all knew that I played, and it was good, and it was nice kudos for the school as well. So that was a good link with the school. And then I now work in a kind of in a community school, so it's more for children with behavioural and learning difficulties, but more behavioural. And they all love football, don't they? Football is a vehicle for, for learning and for communication and social skills mainly. And we do play every single day. And I go about 20%, I'll be honest.
They got to take it easy sometimes, don't you?
Yeah.
But, so we'll, again, I'm going to just hark back very quickly to that Lichfield game. Absolute warrior. I was up in the, I was that lone weirdo up on the main stand on the press boxes, and when you came off with that massive lump on your head, and then straight back in, straight through one of their ladies, head right in where it hurts. I mean, kudos to you.
Thank you. Yeah, I've had a really difficult season with injuries. I keep picking up niggles, but not from lack of fitness. I don't think it's my age. It's more impact injuries. I got concussed again last week. I'm not able to play in the finals. I'm out with concussion. They've said I've got to have 2 weeks off, so really, really gutted about that. But I'll be on the sidelines cheering the ladies on, and they've done fantastically without me lots of times. So I'm absolutely sure that the others will be brilliant, and I'll obviously have a major role to play in terms of communication from the side and the link between the management and the players, like I always try to. So yeah, it's been really unfortunate this season. Another head injury Sunday, a very similar one. I don't know if you can see my black eye and swollen face at the moment. Got a bit want to try and cover it up at school and stuff in case they think I'm really rough. But yeah, it's one of them. It's centre off in it. I always put my head in where it hurts. And I've just been unfortunate. I had a couple of knocks this season, but we'll see at the end of the season what happens in terms of carrying on next season, because I have picked up a lot of injuries.
Well, hopefully, you'll still be able to continue. But it's quite a young team from the couple of times I've been fortunate enough to get down to actually watch the ladies. It does seem to be quite a young team. So that must be great for you to play in as well, just being able to bring some of those ladies on as well and pass on your experience. I mean, as you said, 16 years at Wolves, Anfield experience. You've done quite a bit in the game by the sounds of it.
Yeah, I mean, when I look back, obviously, is it 32 years now I've been playing women's football? I'm 46 now. Started at 14, like literally on my 14th birthday. I joined them. I was desperate to play. So yeah, massive wealth of experience, and I do, try to use it as much as I can. And we've got some really good players coming through. There's a real pathway at Kidderminster Harriers ladies now, just in the last couple of seasons. Massive kudos to the people at the top who are doing that. Malk and that from the ladies' side, and then the people at the club, James, and we are really trying to work together now and provide that pathway. We've got a couple of girls who have been in the squad every week for the last few weeks, and more at training every week as well. So I see my role now next season, even if I don't play, as hopefully helping with that, helping with training, and bringing the girls through, because I'd like to think, even though I'm a lot older than them, I can still get on a level with them being a teacher, and I'd like to think that I do get on with them, and the parents. I like all the parents and talk to all the parents quite a lot, and it's a real good club to be at, and it's definitely going places. We just need to all get together on the right path and really push on next season. It's going to be a really important season for us next year in the league.
That's something really, I think that's echoed across the board, whether it's the academy, the men's, the ladies. There just seems to be real togetherness. And we spoke, I don't know if you saw it when myself and Wes interviewed Sarah, we talked about the importance of getting out into the community and being there for the girls of this generation and giving them some of the opportunities that, as you mentioned yourself, that you wouldn't have got, going back to that chauvinistic teacher however many years ago it was. And by the way, kudos to your teacher at the time, actually not standing for it, which I guess would have been rare back then as well.
Yeah, and that taught me, I'll never forget that day. And I was probably 10 years old, and that's absolutely massive. I've got an 8-year-old daughter myself. She's been playing football in a boys team when she was 6, and then when she was 7 she played boys, and this year I'm coaching with another parent a girls team, under 9 girls at Bridgnorth Spartans, which is where I live. First year, and we won the cup last weekend. We won the the League Cup, and they absolutely love it. They don't know how lucky they are to be in a team, have similar opportunities to the boys, and as much as they can come to women's football and go and watch matches, whether it's Kiddie, whether it's any other teams in the league, whether it's Wolves women or the top teams, the Championship and WSL teams. It's massive that they can actually go to stadiums and watch women's football, and it's really nice that the players are really approachable. I took Chloe to the Birmingham County Cup final at Walsall a couple of weeks ago when Wolves played West Brom. Obviously, as a Wolves fan myself, it's a massive derby, and the kids kind of got that. And then, at the end when Wolves won, the players came over, they got the shirt signed. It's just really lovely for them to be able to, both boys and girls. I went with a friend and her little boy, to meet the players and that. Women's football's going somewhere, special. I'm really proud to have been part of the past, and hopefully, can help with the future in terms of the kids.
Well, hopefully it does continue to grow. I mean, if anybody's been on social media a few weeks ago, we saw everything going on with Coventry United ladies, how they very nearly went bump, and then what a goal to stay up. And that was wall-to-wall coverage, Sky Sports News, BBC Sports. Albeit at a higher level, but 10 years ago, you wouldn't have had that coverage. So hopefully we can just keep building this game, grassroots up, and then hopefully it can grow and get the opportunities that the young girls, ladies, all deserve, because ultimately football is a game for all, Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely opportunities. I mean, Stourbridge this year have won our league. Fair play to them. Congratulations to them. Done really well, been the most consistent team and the best team in the league. The league doesn't lie. And they'll go into tier 4 next year with a real good chance. Do you know what I mean? And then same with Wolves. They've won the league this year. They're going into the playoff final on Saturday tomorrow. It's a massive, massive game. And they've got a chance. I mean, it's really a game that shouldn't exist, as Dan McNamara said. They shouldn't be having to play for the chance to go up. They should be up as had they won the league. I think the Women's Football Authorities need to have a look at that and make sure that next year that doesn't happen, because where do you win the league and not actually go up? It's not fair, is it? So there is chances for teams to go up and move up and, get into that top echelon of women's football, a chance for everybody. I mean, I say to Chloe, you could be a women's football if you want to be, if you work hard. Same as I say to my son, if he wanted to be. Obviously not a women's footballer, but...
No, it's all about the opportunity. You've mentioned the league, tier 5. Am I right in saying it was the first season at the level?
Yeah, so obviously COVID hit the last couple of seasons. Stourbridge were top of the league the last 2 seasons, and they've deservedly won this season. And it was their first term at this level in this league, and ours. I think we've acquitted ourselves quite well. Obviously, halfway in the league doesn't tell the whole story, because we've beaten the second team and the third team. But consistency is obviously going to be the key for us, which is what Stourbridge have achieved this season. And like I said, congratulations to them for winning the league.
Of course, Stourbridge will come to them a little bit more later. So we'll just bring a little bit more light-hearted now, just the usual stock stuff for regular listeners.
Yeah.
We always ask this to everybody. I'm going to have to ask it to you as well, Anne.
Okay.
What were your first pair of boots? Do you remember them? And do you still have them?
I'm going to say Copers, because they probably weren't my very first pair when I was really young, because I doubt my mum and dad could afford them. But the first pair that I probably bought myself and wanted to wear and wore for years were definitely Copers. You felt like you're in slippers playing on a carpet, and Copers, wore them for absolutely years, yeah. I mean, I doubt they were my very first pair when I was about 9. They were probably like Dunlop with the plastic white bottoms. I think that was more like it. Mum and dad could afford at the time, I think.
It's a bit of a common theme, isn't it? All plain black back then. Yeah, it had to be, surely.
Black and white. I mean, I've got Nike at the moment, black and white. They've got a little bit of red in, and I've got my kids' initials embroidered on them. That's my one thing. I won't wear really brightly coloured boots.
Got to keep some of the tradition in the game, haven't we?
But in case you get whacked.
Well, that as well.
Keep telling Sophie Richard she's good for all the coloured boots she's got.
Well, we'll talk about a little bit of the match day preparation now. How has that differed over the years from when you entered the women's game of 14, and then as the game grew, and now how much has it changed, or how much have you had to change your preparation as the games progressed?
So when I was very young, it was Sundays were for church. So I would go to church first, and then Mum would drop me off on the way back at football. So in terms of preparation and breakfast, it was very much breakfast before. But you played the game for the love of it at that age, and you didn't really take the nutrition that seriously. When I went to Wolves, then it got more serious in terms of just had to look after yourself. The fitness was important in terms of, making sure you were physically fit and training, and obviously you got to fuel your body. and that could continue. But obviously, working a full-time job, as everybody did then, no one was paid. Everyone was driving a long way to play and stuff like that. You know, you obviously taking into account, you've got to work the full day, and then we would train where I worked. So you would grab something to eat after work. You wouldn't particularly, eat particularly well. But then obviously Saturday nights you try and carb load, and then Sunday mornings have something, nutritious and light, beans on toast, egg on toast, etc. So
even with that relatively strict preparation, there's got to have been some cheat meals in there somewhere. It's another popular question we ask. What's your cheat meal?
I do as I say, not as I do, because I am terrible for eating. Everyone knows I do chocolate and stuff all the time, but I must have this, as I say, a fast metabolism, because at the moment, touch wood, I don't carry an awful lot of weight. Considering I am well over the age limit that I'm supposed to stop playing football, so that's why I carry on as well. I think because physically I still feel like I can compete. At the level that Kidderminster are at anyway. Definitely nutrition with the higher level is really, really important, and I would advocate it to everybody. I am just very naughty.
I think everybody watching this will be, I think we're all a little bit naughty sometimes, some more than others, but we've all got to have a day off sometimes, right?
Yeah.
So shall we move on to the weekend then? West Midlands Regional League Cup against, you said yourself, the league winners Stourbridge. Obviously a tough game, but they're there to be shot at.
Yeah, definitely. We've got absolutely nothing to lose. Stourbridge are the favourites, having won the league. League Cup finals are a great achievement for us, isn't it? First season in that league, went to a penalty shootout in the semi. Very tense affair. We played well against a very much improved Coventry team. I think in the latter part of this season, all the teams have improved. I've seen a massive improvement from just the start of this season to the end of the season. So I think that's good for the game, and it shows that we've competed well to be in the final. Absolutely nothing to lose, everything to gain, and there's absolutely no reason why we can't beat Stourbridge. We've beaten Lichfield, we've beaten Sutton, we've beaten a really good Worcester side. So, the confidence is there. We've got a lot of players who've played at a much higher level than a lot of the Stourbridge players. So that's the experience. So if we bring our A game, we can win that game. No disrespect to Stourbridge, they're a very good team, well organised, well managed. Obviously trained twice a week. Paid expenses. So they're very committed. But on a one-off game, there's no reason why we can't compete and win the game.
Is that rare then, how Stourbridge operate? You mentioned there the twice a week training, the expenses. Is that typical of, say, a couple of tiers higher, or is that?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely fair play to them. They're paying expenses, and with that they've attracted really good players, young players, committed players. Quite different to how we've operated in the last couple of seasons. We've depended on experience, but we are now growing through our pathways. We are getting these under 16s who are coming into the team and not looking out of place. So that's definitely, I think, experience along with the youth is the way forward. It's rare. Yes, they've attracted a lot of very, very decent players. I'm not saying it's just because of the money. I think it's because of the setup of the club. Like I said, it's obviously very well run. It's popular. It's social media. Like, obviously, they've got a high following, a high showing, a lot of fans. And like I say, fair play to them. Got a lot of respect for them. It is different for our league. It's not what the rest of the teams are used to. But they want to grow the game. They want to push on. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. If they've got the money, and who can argue with money coming into the women's game? The more money that can come into it, the more better teams, better training, better facilities, better players. Grows the game, doesn't it?
Exactly. That's a great point, actually. Just the growth. Obviously, all the Midlands areas as well. You've already mentioned, obviously Dudley, Stourbridge, etc. From back then, the more opportunity, it just generally in society with kids and everything, just the more opportunity, the better. But of course, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. And with a bit of luck, we can do it and get the double done on Sunday.
Yes,
But,
yeah, double cup sounds good.
let's hope we can do it. So Sunday, Lichfield City, £3 adults, £1 children, I believe it is. The weather's set fair from what I can see. So guys, if you're watching this, we'll publicise it on socials as well. Get down, give these ladies your support, because God knows they deserve it. And who can argue with trophies in a Harriers cabinet? Come on.
We have a few fans that come every single week, and we really appreciate that. And then it was really nice on Sunday. We had some of the Harriers kind of men's or club fans. They're not just men's fans, they're obviously women's fans as well. Come and support, and we heard them on the side. It's great. We need that. We need to encourage more people to come and support us, and obviously that helps. An extra. The side of the crowd can be an extra player, can't they?
Yeah, I think that was a big thing with Lichfield as well. I think Sarah mentioned it was about 150 there on that day. It makes such a difference.
We could hear that. It's just lovely, and like kids at the end wanting just to sign the shirts, and that's great. It's brilliant, especially for the younger ones. They can feel really proud of playing, and then want more, want to train harder, want to train more, and get into that team and progress through the tiers of women's football.
Would you say that's something that could happen in future, playing more games at Agborough as opposed to Cozy, which might be a little bit more out the way? Is that something you think we could push for, or just logistically a little bit of a nightmare?
No, not at all. I think the whole, the ground, the stadium, the coming up to the ground and walking in, it puffs your chest out a bit, doesn't it? It makes you feel more important. Cozy's had a lick of paint and a makeover. It looked quite good last weekend. I thought, it looks a little bit better now. So, and we are lucky that is a decent ground compared to some of the ones we play on, to be honest. So no disrespect to the Harriers, but if we could play at Agborough every week, I think it would make a massive difference on players we could draw on, girls, having the commitment and wanting to be there and wanting to get into that first team to play there. It was, it's the second time I've played there. We played against Wolves there. I think it just prior to COVID in the County Cup. I think we lost 4-1, 5-1 maybe, but really good game again. And again, I think we do turn up when we're at Agborough, and if we could get that every week, maybe that would help us, move up the league.
Do you think that's something that would have to stay on a Sunday, or could we possibly do it either side of a game on Saturday, or when the men's team are away, play on the Saturday? I'm just thinking on my feet here, really, just how we could maybe do it.
It's a great idea, and they have definitely tried that in the WSL to move games around, like the men's games, to get more fans there. I think the problem with our league is that you're probably tied to a Sunday afternoon, because that's when the other teams play, and obviously people with commitments, jobs, kids, stuff like that. Probably football's not their number one priority, so you can't just go moving it anywhere because it's not your actual job. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think there's nothing to stop thinking outside the box and thinking of getting more, how you get more fans into watch women's football. Maybe that is the key, to have a women's game first and then the men's, because then you've got people filtering in, haven't you? And they might come a little bit earlier to support the women. So
I stole that idea from the cricket last summer, actually, the 100.
Yeah.
That's what they did. They had the women's first and the men's. I did a couple of those games. I was more interested in the women's games than the men's games, because the quality was there and you settled in. And it is. A lot of people have preconceptions, misconceptions, don't they? And until they actually go there, then it's, actually, this is a lot better than we think. And it's, you do that with the men's game, the non-league, women's, just anything. Just try it. If you're watching it, you've not been to a Harriers women game, try it. You won't be disappointed. But just look at the time; it's absolutely flown here, and I don't want to take up all of your night. And I've got a time limit on this Zoom meeting as well, so I'm conscious of that one as well. This is, of course, the final word. So I think I've spoken enough. The floor is yours. The final word goes to you.
I would just say as many people as possible could come and watch us on Sunday, and obviously we'll do our best to lift the cup. We'll definitely, put 100% in. All the team will be together and give a good performance, and watch us next season. See what happens. See if we can get more of these younger girls into the team and that pathway. And and keep moving up that women's pyramid. Be great for Kidderminster.
Here, here. Anne, you've been absolutely brilliant. Thanks ever so much for giving me a little bit of your time tonight. And wish, obviously, all the ladies and yourself from the side the very best of luck on Sunday. I'll do my best to promote it. I'm sure Wes will as well. And hopefully we'll get a few down to Lichfield to support you all, because I know you all deserve it.
Thanks very much. That's brilliant. No problem.
Thanks a lot, Anne. Have a good night.
And you, bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye.